Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Let them come.
And welcome to another episode of Where Heartbreak Feels Good. My name is Edgar Ortega, your host, and joining me today is Evan Harris to help us discuss box office numbers, baby. Evan, how you feeling? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted. There you go.
I was like, am I still muted? It's in my mic with unplugged. But either way, we're back. So this is interesting. The fall holiday box office had some surprises, but not so surprises. So we want to break that down. And then just like last season, or last year, the spring, whatever box office season that we're at right now, from January to April, it's looking a little dry. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, your mic sounds a little bit muffled. I don't know if you unplugged it. Let me see.
Let me see.
There you go. Perfect.
Yeah, probably just had to load in. But yeah, so the January to April box office, just like last season, where we just had like Madam Web or whatever. Like this one, we have some guarantees, but also some surprises that could be lurking in there. Some ones that I'm very curious to be looking at. So I wrote down my predictions. Some of them I know Edgar's going to pick. Obviously, we got to do the coin toss to see who goes first. Okay?
Yeah.
Do you have that available? Because number one is going to be pretty obvious, but we'll see. We'll see if we have some surprises in there. But yeah, let's break down what we witnessed for the fall/holiday box office. That was between what was it, October and December, or September and December?
September, yeah.
September to December. In September last year, didn't have any big, hits. I think we had like some Speak No Evil or whatever. But mostly it came from November, December. We had some huge numbers. I think like the Wicked Palooza. Just I don't even know what to call it. The Wicked Renaissance, not even a Renaissance, but explosion happened, and that was like the big deal.
Yeah. And before we begin, do you want to look back at our predictions before we dive into the numbers?
Let's do that. I think I had Mufasa as my number one.
Yeah, give me 1 second. Let's see.
Yeah, thank
this
you.
one. Can you see it?
I can now. Yep.
All right, perfect.
Oof.
Yep.
Oof. I had Joker Folie à Deux, which was a Folie à Bomb. Man. I think Joker's going to end up losing like $200 million for WB, all parts including like the marketing.
Yeah.
Because I think classically the first Joker cost under $100 million, and it went on to make over $1 billion. So as a result, they're like, who's the fucking director for Joker? What's his name?
Todd Phillips.
They're like, Todd, we're going to give you carte blanche, which is French for a blank check. They gave him a blank check for this one, over 200 million for Joker 2.
Yeah, something like that.
Production budget alone was like over 200 million, which I don't even know where that came from.
Yeah, and also the thing that kind of helped them with the first Joker is that they had other financiers, like Warner Brothers didn't pay for the whole movie, and this time they did.
Yeah, and they paid for it, and they ruined the day because man, that movie. We'll look at the box office results, but I don't think it crossed like 150 worldwide, or maybe I don't think
didn't it cap off like maybe like around 60 here just domestically?
Yeah, I think so. It was definitely under like 80 million domestic, which was crazy. Like it made in this entire domestic run, it made less than what the first one made, like nearly opening weekend. It was an interesting cavalcade of events there for Joker 2, where I think I started the year, I always do my yearly box office predictions at the beginning of every year. I already made my top 5 for this year in general. I could share that at the end of this. And I was like, I think Joker 2 is going to be top 5 of the entire year. The first one made $1 billion. I think the second one could make $1 billion, or even if it's less than, it can make it like 800, 700, which would still be great. But man, this one made like 80% less, 90% less than the first
90%.
one. Like, holy shit, that was a huge, 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 huge surprise.
On the other hand, I am very happy about all of my picks except for the last one, but even then, it's not terrible.
Transformers 1 wasn't terrible. I think it was a impact of lack of marketing. I don't want to say lack of marketing. How do I phrase it for Transformers 1? Because the marketing was an issue. I wouldn't say lack of marketing. 'Cause I did see a couple of trailers here and there. But it was like the instance of they're playing the same trailers. It was the same trailers, which happened with Lord of the Rings a lot.
And the trailers weren't that great to begin
The trailers
with.
weren't that great. That's what it was. Because sometimes for bad marketing, you can get either repetitive trailers, which happens a lot of the time because they don't want to pay for new trailers, or the trailers aren't that good, which I think was the same thing for Transformers 1, where the trailers weren't that good and they played the same trailer every time. There's nothing different that people were like, oh, what else can I get from this movie? It felt very kiddish. And, even though kid movies can succeed at times, for Transformers with the IP that's like, dwindling in terms of like audience favor, it needed something. It needed a bigger push, because the Transformers franchise in general, ever since Bay left the live action movies, has been going downhill. Live action and now in animation, it's showing the ripple effect there. But yeah, I was ultimately happy with Mufasa. I think Mufasa opening weekend, I was like, okay, 33 million, I think, or so opening weekend. That was just for the 3-day weekend. I forget what it was for 5-day. But Mufasa was second to Sonic in its opening 5-day weekend. Every time after that, though, I think for 2 weekends in a row now, I think Mufasa has been the king domestically at the box office and internationally.
We'll check it out right now.
We'll check it out. But yeah, I think right now Mufasa's at like 500, 600. Sonic's at 300 million globally. But I'm happy with Sonic. I'm happy with Mufasa. I had two of the big players there for the Christmas corridor. Which was a smart play by myself. But yeah, so Sonic, I'm very happy with. One of my favorite movie experiences of the year was Sonic the Hedgehog 3. I can't wait to talk about that with you and Josh when we do our December recap. But
Josh has a story with that one too.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I had a huge smile on my face the entire time. I'm a huge Sonic fan, and I couldn't even hear myself during the last act of that movie. People were screaming, cheering. It was an awesome, awesome time. In the post-credit scene, I was just like mouth agape. I was like, oh my gosh, they're doing this. I just love this franchise so much. The director knows exactly what people want from the Sonic franchise. It is playing like a Marvel movie for the Sonic fans, and I think that's very smart on them. And it's just unabashedly funny. I think this is the most funny Sonic movie, where most of the jokes actually hit. The first two were kind of like, oh boy, some of these jokes are not good. And there's some hit and miss jokes in here, but I think for the most part, Sonic 3 really succeeds in that, and Shadow definitely is a great X factor in it all. So I'm happy Sonic's doing well, Mufasa's doing well. Venom: The Last Dance. Whenever I think of Venom, I think of the post credit scene that people keep sharing. I don't even know what the post credit scene. It was just the ending, not the post credit scene, with Tom Hardy walking down the fucking pier or whatever, doing some bullshit. This one made, I think, the least out of all the Venom movies.
I think so, yeah.
We'll have to look at the box office, but we called that. I was like, it's diminishing returns for the Venom franchise. First one made over 800 million. Second one made 500 million, but it came out during like 21 or something like that. So it was like post a little bit of inside COVID, post COVID issues there for Venom 2. And I think I was like, Venom 3 could be the same as Venom 2 or a little bit lower, but that's why I had it at 4th place. Gladiator 2 did well for its budget as well. A very expensive film. They recreated Rome, but it still did very well. I don't think it's making a huge profit, but like it's holding strong to the top 10, and it's January now. So
yeah,
there was an appetite for Gladiator 2, and people did come.
You lick it, perhaps?
Wicked, it didn't have the full Barbenheimer effect. They weren't super, super like popular, but like Wicked was huge. Wicked,
Yeah.
holy
I
crap!
am so happy with my top two. My top three, really, because Beetlejuice fucking crushed it as well.
Beetlejuice, surprisingly, I was doubtful. Let's talk about
I
Beetlejuice right now.
told you. I told
I was
you.
doubtful. I'm like, it came out in the '80s. Like, are the people that were thirsty for Beetlejuice are they going to be coming back for this one? Is there an audience for this? I know Jenna Ortega has her fans, and I'm curious to know how much of this Beetlejuice success was because of Jenna Ortega, or was it just because of the IP? Um,
Probably both, but
Jenna Ortega, does she have pool like that? Put her in a movie right now. I don't know. People are really flocking to see a Jenna Ortega movie.
I mean, I guess
Am I an idiot?
I mean, I guess we're gonna test that theory with that unicorn movie that's coming out by A24.
That seems like a bomb waiting to happen. I saw the trailer. I'm like,
I don't
this looks
disagree,
fun.
but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, it looks fun. I'm seeing the opening weekend, of course. I'm a huge A24 nut. I'll see all the crazy ones. I mean, I pick and choose A24 these days. Anyways, yeah, I don't know how much is a huge Jenna Ortega effect or just like the IP. People have heard
Burton.
of Beetlejuice. The Burton, I don't even know about Burton. Because Burton's hit and miss sometimes, but the Burton, the Beetlejuice aesthetic, like it's had a mainstay in the public zeitgeist for a while now. And I think the trailers did a very successful job of like appealing to that. Jenna Ortega's Winona Ryder, like the returning cast was solid. It seemed like a fun, spooky holiday time. I think it was smart not to like, and that's the appeal of this franchise in general. It's not super, super scary. It's a very family-oriented Halloween movie, which came out at the right time, that September time. September is very lucrative if you have like that fine family or just like globally oriented horror movie. This is where the It franchise came about. And I don't even think the It franchise is super, super scary.
No.
It has like some solid jump scares and all, but like similar to It, it's like it's a thing where a lot of families can go see it. Because and it is rated R, so it's not family oriented. This was, I think, just PG, or PG-13. I'm not sure.
PG-13. There's an F-bomb.
Okay. So yeah, it was. And I had my issues with Beetlejuice, but it's like I had like similar fun time with like the first one. I think the first one is a little bit better, but like these movies aren't the best. So I'm happy for Beetlejuice. And it ended up grossing more domestically than Dune Part 2, which was a very huge surprise. This one made like over 100 million opening weekend. It opened up bigger than did it open up bigger than Wicked? Well, what did Wicked open to?
We'll check it out.
We'll check it out. But like Beetlejuice, I think had one of the biggest openings of the entire year, over 100 million opening weekend. Just huge. And Moana 2, just killing it. It's one of my least favorite movies of the year, but it killed it. Very huge success. This is officially a certified box office success for a franchise. If you saw the post-credit sequence for Moana 2, Moana 3 is just around the corner. If I had to predict, I would say 2027 for Moana 3, right after they get finished with their quadruple. What do they have now? Disney has like the run of like Toy Story 4 or Toy Story 5, Incredibles 3, Frozen 3 and 4, and now Zootopia 2 starting next year. Like all these sequels that are in production. I think Moana 3 is towards the end of that run, but it's going to come out and it's going to be huge again. And Moana 2 is just a big sign of that.
Yeah. I just checked, and Beetlejuice opened at 111 and Wicked opened at 112.
Oh, wow. So it's very close. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, big opening for Beetlejuice and Wicked. Like for Wicked, open up similar to Beetlejuice is surprising, I guess. But yeah, Wicked, it's the talk of the town. Whether it's for awards or definitely for the box office. Excuse me. It's just very interesting to see Wicked have such great hold. How much of that was Ariana Grande? How much of that was like the appeal of one of the biggest Broadway plays of all time? How much of that was just people coming around for a very awesome musical. It's all the above. Great cast, fun movie. Like it's one of those movies where it leaves you just like, and for me, I always say this, like it leaves you speechless because I think Defying Gravity is a very, very, very good closing number. It just leaves you with a lot of energy, and even if you're upset, like oh, there's a part two, I compared it to like Across the Spider Verse, where it's like the score is rising, the drums, everything. Gwen's on the roof, and it's just like so much hype. And then part two, and then this one is like Defying Gravity. She's traveling, you're like full of emotion. Then boom, part two. Like it just leaves you either wanting to go see the movie again or just telling the next person, hey, you got to see this movie, and that can really appeal to a lot of people there. Like I told my mom about Wicked. I was like, go see Wicked. She went with her friend, and my dad went to go see it. I went to go see it again. Like it's one of those things that just appeals to like the common person. Just a very easy to watch, fun musical.
It's gonna be very interesting to see how part two performs.
I agree. I made my top 5 for the year. I did not include Wicked Part 2, but maybe I'm an idiot for that. But
yeah, we'll see.
we'll
Also, it'll also depend on like I don't know. It might be a silly thing to consider runtime, but given this movie is like almost 3 hours,
yeah,
we'll see how part two is. And also, I haven't checked out the calendar, but does it have like competition this year, part two?
Zootopia 2.
There you go.
And that's in my top 2. But like Moana 2 came out right now, and Moana 2 was huge, and Zootopia 2 I think is going to be even bigger. But we'll see how it fares. It's going to be a very fun November for theaters.
Yeah, and finally, our Danger Zone cards. You gave me Craven the Hunter, which actually I haven't keep track of how that has performed. And then Megalopolis, which for you, it was a big bomb.
Big bomb.
But keep granted that it was mostly just like Francis Coppola's money, so it's not like the studio lost anything. But still, a bomb is a bomb.
I know, yeah, it was mostly out of his like pocket change, and I think he said he wants to make another movie still.
Yeah. Good luck, my man.
Yeah, so it's we'll see what happens there, but yeah, Craven the Hunter. I actually liked it a bit more than Madame Web and Venom: The Last Dance, if that means anything at all.
You're crazy for that.
Am I wrong?
I think Madame Web is more fun than Craven. I saw Craven, and we'll talk about it for our December episode, but I thought it was mostly just boring.
It is boring, but like it's semi-competently made. Not really. I don't know. It's a mess. None of these movies are well made. Megalopolis, I didn't even see, which it disappoints me because I was going to give it to Adam Driver. It's Adam Driver. I watch everything he does. But I just couldn't pull myself to go watch Megalopolis when it came out in theaters. I just couldn't pull myself to go see it. It just looked that funky to me. Maybe I'll catch it on streaming one of these days.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Craven numbers, and right now worldwide is at 58 million. That's rough.
Just 58. There's no one in front of that. Just
no. It's a 23 domestic and 35 international.
Did it not open up anywhere domestic or internationally?
I don't know.
Jesus Christ, 58 million.
It opened to 11 here in the States.
Wow.
Let me just show this. Why not? There we go.
Wow. That's not good, Bob. It's going to be opening less than Madame Web. Madame Web made it to 100 million at least. Shit. They put this movie out to die.
Yeah. I mean, it got delayed multiple times, which never it never bodes well for anything.
It was fun seeing homeboy, what's his name, Aaron Taylor Johnson on the press tour, just like having no care in the world. I filmed this like 3 years ago.
Yeah, he was eager to go over for the Nosferatu tour.
Yeah, he was like, "Let me go talk to Lily and Nicholas."
Speaking of, I really did consider, like, I think if you go back and watch the episode, you can hear me talk about how I really wanted to put Nosferatu at number 5. I just couldn't get myself, and now that I'm looking at the numbers, I'm like, damn, I should have
go to our list again. I wonder where Nosferatu would have stood compared to
I
us.
think I think it would have been my 5 or 4 because Smile 2 it did well, but it didn't do like bonkers.
I think it
But
made more than Nosferatu still, but yeah, but I think Nosferatu would have been a good replacement for like Transformers.
yeah,
I think I could have definitely take away Joker 2, move everything up a spot. I could have squeezed in Nosferatu as well. I should have saw that coming, but I'm so glad that Nosferatu has been a box office hit for Eggers. Give Eggers whatever the fuck he wants. Nosferatu, another one of my favorite movie going experiences of 2024. Um, Fantastic movie, ominous, chilling, just all around exactly what I wanted from a Nosferatu film from Eggers. And
yeah,
it did great box office numbers. It stood in there. It's a top two rated R films at the holiday box office. I know it's a very specific run there. But like the other one, the first one is Django Unchained from 2011, I want to think. Had a
12, 11, yeah,
2012, yeah, had a huge run there during the Christmas season. But Nosferatu is now officially number 2 there for highest grossing R-rated film during that holiday corridor, that December corridor, which is just very awesome. Very happy for Nosferatu, very happy for Eggers, very happy for everybody involved. We'll talk about it again with our December recap, but man, Lily Rose Depp is one of the most surprising performances I've seen in quite some time.
yeah. Just a really cool movie in general.
So
The
cool,
vibe.
so good, yeah, so good.
But if you want to get into it, we can start with the fall box office.
Yeah, let's look at this here. Beetlejuice. So this is from September to October 31st.
Yep.
So Beetlejuice 294 domestic, almost hitting that 300 mark. 157 internationally, 451 worldwide. This is if this wanted to do a sequel. This is sequel numbers right here. If they want to do a
Yep.
Beetlejuice, which saying his name 3 times, like that's the appeal of Beetlejuice. So for Warner Brothers, Michael Keaton's getting up there in age. You might want to hurry up and do a Beetlejuice 3. I don't know where you can go with it, but like you have Jenna Ortega, Winona Ryder. Like there's room for another adventure there, one last ride, I guess.
One last right.
But yeah, this that's sequel numbers, and that's a one. Look at that theater count: 4,575 for the theater count. Huge theater count, comedy, fantasy, horror, all in one. Like this was a great run for Beetlejuice. And again, 294 is higher than like Dune Part 2, which dominated the spring category.
You have to keep in mind they wanted to dump this on streaming.
Which is crazy. Zaslav, man. What a great play.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but you can't convince me that this guy knows what he was doing when he killed Batgirl. If he was gonna do shit like this for
Exactly.
what it became a box office juggernaut.
People are like, Batgirl would have been a bad movie. I can release bad movies. Meanwhile, they've released so many bad movies since then. Yeah, who knows what Batgirl would have done, but I think it would have done more than some other WB movies. Wild Robot was a huge success. I think they came out like, could we have guessed Wild Robot or did we not? I don't know.
Wait, what was the question?
Could we have guessed Wild Robot?
What do you mean, like guess, like that it was gonna perform well?
For our predictions, was that in this slot? Was that in September to December?
Yeah, it released on September 27.
I guess we could have.
Yeah, we could have. I mean, honestly, like I don't blame us because I mean it was kind of like it's not original. It's based on like a book, but it's not something that's really well known.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad that it performed well.
Me too.
But it's not something that I would instantly think like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a hit.
Agreed. Yeah, domestically, it did fine, over 100 million domestically off of look at that, from 35 million opening weekend to 143 domestic. It hung on there from September all the way up to when Moana 2 was coming out in mid to late November. It held on there as like the number one family oriented movie. So yeah, look at that. 35. Look at those drops. Those are some great drops from 35,
Yeah.
18, 14, went up to 17. 10, 6. Like, this is really good. Really,
Yeah,
really
legged
good.
it out.
Great legs for a wild robot.
And then let's see.
So
What do we
yeah,
have?
Venom: The Last Dance. So what did that end up doing compared? So this one had what was it, 476? That's some great numbers for Venom: The Last Dance. I remember when it opened up to 51 million. I'm like, that's solid numbers. Um, I think compared with the franchise, it's in like third place, but like not by a lot. It's very close to Venom 2. Let There Be Carnage.
Yeah.
Um, Again, not the best movie in the world, but you know, it didn't have the worst drop in the second weekend. Only went down 49%. It's still number one. I remember the early November, there was like nothing coming out. I think that's when I saw Nora.
When
Uh,
people were saying they were watching Venom because of the elections.
oh yeah. 49, 38. So solid drops overall for Venom there. And internationally, Venom can always carry itself. And internationally, it kind of saved the movie here. With that 337 internationally, 70% of it coming from international numbers. So even if it had a lower than expected opening, international really came through for this franchise. International really loves it, and that's kind of the appeal of these Sony Marvel movies, if it, or at least for the Venom franchise.
Yeah.
The international numbers for sure.
Go check out our episode where we covered it. It was kind of hilarious.
Very, very funny podcast. Yeah. And then Joker, or let's
Yeah,
go to Joker.
this is the big one.
This is the big bomb here. Oh, so it made 206 worldwide, better than Craven. But like, I think it had a budget of like the budget alone
200.
was 200. Marketing was like 150. So I think it like it's losing a couple hundred million there. One of the bigger bombs of the year. A drama musical. I wouldn't even say it's a thriller. No way in hell is it a thriller. Drama musical. This is one of the most boring movies I watched last year.
Ayo.
Boring. The musical numbers just aren't that engaging. And probably needed a John M. Chu, if you know what I'm saying.
Ayo.
I'm just kidding. But man, it just everything went wrong with this movie. I think the story just wasn't there.
Ooh.
81% drop from from this first weekend to second weekend. One of the biggest drops from any comic book movie. Fuck. That's brutal. That's a complete sign of disinterest. Man. And it was gone like less than
within like 2 weeks. Didn't they put it on streaming like in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think like the first week in November, it was like, okay, here's digital. 148 internationally. Man, they can really sell that thing internationally. That's crazy. Kind of helped save it a little bit, but man, not a great. I just think the story was just all over the place for this movie. I don't think they knew what to get there. You have Harley and you have Joker, two great characters, and they sit around and float and dance and have misunderstandings. It just wasn't for me. Wasn't for a lot of people, given the box office, and I think the musicals were just misguided. They could have done something completely different for the story. I think would have worked better. Maybe Bonnie and Clyde. I don't know.
Yeah, still looks gorgeous though. I'll give them that.
It looks very good. Yeah, it looks a very good film. But yeah,
what do you want to look at then?
Let me see Transformers 1. So 129 worldwide. Man, so disappointing. I think I heard a quote from like the Hasbro person where he's like cutting ties with this with green lighting a lot of these movies, these Transformers movies, at least animation wise. There is a crossover being planned for the Transformers and G.I. Joe team up.
I think that will be the last shot that they're gonna have to like really, I guess, keep this franchise relevant. And if that doesn't work, I think they're gonna put it to bed for a few years.
For a few years, yeah. This is one of those IPs where just on paper, it's Transformers, a huge. I don't even want to say nostalgic, but we're reaching the 2025 now, and this was a player back in the 90s. I forget when Transformers started. When was the first one?
80s.
80s, 90s. It had a huge resurgence thanks to Michael Bay in the mid 2000s. But then, thanks to Michael Bay, it came back thanks to Michael Bay, and it kind of
died because of
thanks to Michael Bay. In terms of those movies, people were just like, "Wait, guys, these aren't good." And the last two, Age of Extinction and the last whatever, the last night, like it really killed this franchise. Bumblebee, which was a great movie, didn't do so well because of the stink of the IP. And then this movie doesn't do well because of the stink of the IP. I even liked the last one from last year?
Yeah.
2023 when we had the Rise of the Beast. I thought that was pretty fun, but also didn't do so well. It's one of the least grossing Transformers movies. So I'm with you. I think the last gasp for this franchise is that crossover, but this is so disappointing because I love Transformers 1.
It's a great movie.
One of my top 20 movies of the year, guys. I swear to God, it's just so good.
That third act is so fucking brilliant.
The third act is great. The voice acting, immaculate. I'll say it, immaculate.
Brian, that man cannot do anything.
Brian Tyree Henry. I saw The Fire Inside. He's still good in that one as well, man. Brian Tyree Henry needs some, man. He's doing great work consistently. There's a new show coming out this year. I think is it called Task? No, it's called Dope something. I have it on my list for like most anticipated TV shows. And I think it's just going to be a great. It's called Dope Thief with Brian Tyree Henry. But either way, he's having a great career. He was so good as Megatron, and I think Chris Hemsworth. What a year for him as the despicable character.
And bombs.
Oh yeah. But the despicable character in Furiosa, which didn't do so well. But then he was so great in Furiosa. He was so great here as Optimus, where I didn't think it would be good.
I will give him the credit because it does sound like Chris in the beginning, but once you get to that third act, like his voice literally changes.
I was so nervous. I'm like, this is just gonna be Chris Hemsworth doing his Chris Hemsworth thing. But I was like, wait a second, is that something I sent a change? And it was just him and Brian like really locked in that third act. This movie is just so much fun, guys. If you have not seen Transformers 1 yet, I implore you to watch it. It's so good. I don't know if it's on Paramount Plus.
I'm pretty sure it's somewhere.
I think it's somewhere over the rainbow. But great movie.
One that I feel kind of like an idiot for not picking, just given how well the second one did, was Terrifier
3. Yeah, that was a huge hit, right?
Yep.
53 million domestically.
I think it cost like 10 million.
Yeah, it was another huge hit for the Terrifier fam.
Did you watch this one or not yet?
No. Nathan wants me to commentary 2 and 3 still. I'm just like, I heard 2 is like 2.5 hours.
It's like 220, yeah.
Oh boy. The first one was rough, and that was 90 minutes.
Yeah. I think that is the biggest problem with the movies, but 3 is the one that has the better pacing out of any of them.
As I heard, yeah. So,
but I don't know. You decide if it's worth getting through.
I'm hoping Nathan quietly forgets that we have to do commentary.
Until Halloween.
He tends to not forget, but we have 2 more sequels for that one in the books, maybe.
What else do you want to look at? I mean, Deadpool's still hanging in there past the summer.
Let's check out the December. Do you have the December corridor list? Yeah, holiday season. There we go. Yeah, Wicked. What a 440 and still kicking. That is just crazy. It's at 681 as of this weekend.
Like we predicted, neither of us thought it was gonna get to 1 billion. I think it could cut off like at 7, maybe 8 if it's lucky.
I think we're right on the money there in terms of like, yeah, this is the kind of movie that just cannot
perform international.
Can't perform internationally, and that was sight unseen. We hadn't even seen the movie, but like this, just plays in general, Broadway adaptation of plays or just musicals in general don't play super well overseas. I think La La Land did okay because that was like an Oscar play, but like, Wicked 230 is still very, very good, but like it's not playing as well in like the Asian countries. I think the same is going to be the same. I think it's going to be the same for Wicked Part 2. And yeah, I think it's going to be scratching up there. Dune Part 2, I think, has like 715
Yeah.
worldwide. So I think it's going to be able to beat out Dune Part 2 by a little bit there. But 681 is in January, February time. The sing along versions didn't super boost the movie, but it's look at those drops. It's just hanging in there. 112. And then the next weekend, it does like 118 during the 5-day weekend. Like, that's crazy. It was in even more, making more money per theaters in its second weekend, dropping only 27% in week 2 or week 3, 55%, like 37. Like, this is really great work for Wicked. Like, holy crap. Like,
Still doing 10 million right now.
I went to go see it. What was it? That December
20.
13th to 15th time span. I think during the 20th, like, and I saw it again when it was nearly sold out in like late December. I was like, holy shit. Like, people were craving this movie. And again, I can't reiterate, it's just a very fun, appealing kind of movie. Even if you don't love it, it's a easy to watch musical. And even if it's 2 hours and 40 minutes, it does not feel like it.
Yeah. Right now, let's say like the movie caps off of maybe 500 domestically by the end of its run. Where do you think Part 2 does?
I have to include the Zootopia 2 effect.
And the Part 2 effect.
And the Wicked Part 2 effect. So it's hard. Wicked Part 2. But because Wicked Part 1 is doing so well, I don't know if Wicked Part 2 is going to do even better, like so much better. I don't think it's going to be exponentially better than Part 1. Like, I think Part 1 is already exceeding expectations. So I would say it has a shot at doing 450 again. That's boring to say, but I think like 450 to 475. I think it's going to hit very similar numbers. Yeah. I think the second one's going to make at base. But the real question is, can the second one do better internationally? Now that some countries,
now that they know what the movie's about,
I'm like, maybe they might do better internationally. So I would say,
or it could do worse.
I would say for right now, I think Wicked Part 2 will do better overall than Wicked Part 1. But that's because I'm leaning on similar domestic, that 450 range. Oh, what was coming out in December for this year?
Avatar, yeah. That international audiences love James Cameron, man.
Yeah. Okay. The reason Part 2 did, or the reason this one did so well, is because Sonic and Mufasa didn't take away a lot from Wicked. Sonic had the Kid franchise. Mufasa had a mixed results, but still did very good. We'll click on Mufasa after this, but I think domestically it might take a hit from Zootopia 2 overperforming and Avatar cutting off its legs earlier than Wicked had. Like, I don't think Wicked's having these legs with Avatar and Zootopia 2 in the same corridor. So I would say,
yeah, Avatar alone is a bigger danger to Wicked Part 2 than all of these movies combined.
So I take that back. I think Part 2 is going to. I'm taking not that much. 430, and then internationally, I think it's over 400. I think it's over 400, which is still huge. And then international, less. So I'm going 650 for Wicked Part 2. I don't know if it's hitting 700 million next year.
Okay, all right, that's fair. I'm in the same boat.
100 million. I wonder, do I have my predictions for Heartbreak Feels Good? Yeah, I do. I can, I'll do that after this. But yeah, let's click on Moana 2.
This thing is almost at $1 billion, man.
I think it's going to hit $1 billion. Yeah, 960 is a wrap. It's hitting $1 billion.
I'm so happy.
It's going to be scratching $1 billion. But after the success of Inside Out 2, I was like, okay, Moana 2 is going to be huge. And it was. Moana 2, $1 billion.
For a mediocre movie that was going to be
So
a
mediocre.
Disney Plus series.
How is that going to be Disney Plus? That's ridiculous. This is such a guaranteed hit. Guaranteed, no matter how bad it was.
I mean, Bob. I mean, that was a Bob Chapek decision. Iger was the one that's like, "Hey, what the fuck are you guys doing?"
Yeah, idiots. Baka. So yeah, 425. Did it really have 225? No way.
Yeah.
Oh, 5 days. Yeah, five
Yeah.
day weekend, 225. Yeah. That makes sense. And then the 3 day was 139. Okay.
Still pretty good.
Still huge. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's like, that's like close to Super Mario Brothers numbers. But of course, Super Mario Brothers had longer legs and better reviews, and not better reviews, but just like more kids were willing to
More
see
nostalgia, I guess. More
Yeah,
appeal, not just to
exactly.
kids.
It didn't have, and then 63% is a bit of a drop there, but makes sense given how big it was opening weekend. And then 48, 50, yeah, this is some solid drops from Moana 2. Very, very, very solid drops. 12 million just this past weekend. It's currently Sunday, so yeah, 12 million. And yeah, I think it's going to make what, 8 million, 5 million next weekend internationally. So it's going to be scratching $1 billion. It's going to be scratching $1 billion. I think it could make it there. I can look at current projections right now. Let me see. I had to look up Moana projections. Let's look at something else here. Let's look at Mufasa before we give our own predictions. We'll end it here with Mufasa.
$476 worldwide.
That's crazy. So yeah, right now the projection for Moana 2 is going to be 1 billion to 1.1 billion. So yeah, I think 1 billion is guaranteed because the drops are very small for Moana internationally. But yeah, Mufasa 476, 168 domestic, 307 internationally. Very big. And Mufasa has a lot still going for it. Even with like a super expensive movie, $200 million as they say here. It's eyeing a 650 to 700 million global run. So a lot left still on the tank for Mufasa.
Not terrible. I mean, I'm pretty sure Warner Brothers wishes that's what Joker would have done.
Oh yeah, and I think we called this. I was like, the first one made 1.9, 1. No. The first Lion King made 1.6. I know that for sure because Inside Out 2 officially beat it as the highest grossing animated whatever movie this year. First one made 1.6. I was like, this one's gonna make half of that, maybe less than. And 650 to 700 is a little less than half that. So very big for Mufasa. And yeah, it lost 175 theaters this Friday, but it still was number one this current weekend as of January 5th. It's looking at 230 to 260 million run in the U.S. And yeah, Mufasa, it was surprising. I knew that it was going to open up bigger or second to Sonic, just given the fan hype. But it's had stronger legs a little bit than Sonic. So 476. Okay, let's quickly go over Sonic the Hedgehog. 336. So yeah, that movie is capping out at about like 400 to 500 million. Let me look at the projections for Sonic. But overall, very good for Sonic. 60 million, not as big as Sonic 2, but it's turning out to be the one of the biggest for the franchise. 245 to 270 estimated run overall for Sonic 3, and it's only $3.3 million away from beating Sonic Hedgehog 2 as the highest grossing domestically already for the franchise. So it has a lot. So I'm very happy. That's very good so far as eyeing a 520 to 570 global run. So it still has a lot left in the tank for Sonic. It's crazy. It's only been like 2 weeks since Sonic came out.
Yeah.
It feels so long ago because that December to January just feels like a long gap, but it hasn't. It's only been 2 weeks. So it has a lot left in the tank for Sonic and Mufasa. They're both going to be huge, huge successes. And yeah,
And anything else you want to look at, or are you good?
I think I'm good.
Actually, let me. I want to seize this real
Let's see
quick.
Nosferatu.
100 million already. Okay,
100
that's pretty good.
million worldwide. Very impressive. Very for a rated R dark, eerie drama like this.
Gothic romance. Yeah.
Gothic romance. Come on, let's go. I'm so happy the audiences are turning out for this movie.
A win for the sickos.
A win for the sickos. That's me, baby. What a fucking great movie. And it's gonna be even longer. Edgar's confirmed. There's a extended cut, which is rare these days.
Hopefully, Blu-ray.
For the Blu-ray. Yeah, 45 minutes. Good timing. Let's use the other 45 minutes here to dive into our.
All right.
How many slots did we do for our last winter?
Yeah, I was about to remind you. I think for winter spring last year we did 3 and 1 danger zone, just because there's not a lot of like movies coming out. I mean, there are, but like not a movie that are gonna perform.
Yeah, 3 and 1 danger zone makes a lot of sense. Let's do that. Let's stick with that.
Let
And then
me
I think
just-
every other season we did like 4 or 5.
yeah, for the other seasons it's like 5 minimum.
Yeah.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Ooh,
we
it's
have
already-
like January to April, and then we have like May to August, and then September to December. So yeah, 3 major seasons here.
All right, ready?
Let's do this. Basically, this is to see who gets Captain America. Let's
And
go.
it is you.
It's me.
It's you. All right.
It's me.
It was so hard to pick movies for the background because again, there's not a lot coming on, but
Yeah, no Captain America on here though. I did realize that Looney Tunes is having a
theatrical run.
theatrical run this year, which is very, very exciting. Given like the cancelizations, a lot of Looney Tunes projects at Warner Brothers right now. But yeah, look at this list. Great. What do you call this? Great poster. Great thumbnail by Edgar here. Monkey Man, or it was just called the Monkey. Monkey looks very fun. Looney Tunes looks fun. I haven't seen a single Paddington movie. Hopefully that'll change this year. I want to see Paddington 3. Love Hurts with Ki Hoi Kwan. It looks very fun. You've probably seen a lot of trailers for that if you went to the theaters at all in December.
Really? They've been playing it a lot?
Yeah. I see it in front of it's a rated R movie, so it's all in front of like Nosferatu, I think.
Okay.
Baby Girl, stuff like that.
I skipped the trailer, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah, so they played it. People know that it's coming. And then the other one I saw, I think this was in front of Mufasa, I want to say, because it is like a family movie. This is the A24 film at the bottom left. I think it's called
Legend of Oki or Ochi?
Land of Ochi, Legend of Ochi, which has Willem Dafoe doing some crazy shit, which I like. I saw the trailer for the first time in theaters, and I was like, "Oh, Willem Dafoe as a crazy dad, I'm all for it." So, I'm Captain America: Brave New World. Just real quick on Captain America, not much to say. This is a Marvel movie,
yeah,
MCU, but this is where we begin our 2025 conversation. Edgar, what Marvel movie is going to be the most well received at the box office? And I think my range for these movies goes from number 1, Fantastic Four.
Yep.
Number 2, Captain America. Number 3, Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that order?
I would agree, but I feel like I think Brave New World is going to perform really well, but given the history that movie has had due to its production and just like I guess maybe the political climate, people and everything, I could see doing it really well, but maybe not as good as other installments in the franchise.
I'm looking at. I want to see what did Winter Soldier do.
Yeah, and also I feel like Thunderbolts could be a Guardians kind of situation.
Wow, you think so?
Maybe.
I mean, Guardians made a lot of money. So Winter Soldier made $714 million in 2014. We are now over 10 years since Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier making 714 is pretty massive for a Winter Soldier like movie. That's when movies were just making bank. I don't know if Brave New World's making 714 million, guys.
No.
I don't think so. I think Brave New World's making 600 million. My prediction for this year, off the top of my head, I think Fantastic Four making 800 million plus. I think Brave New World's making 600 million plus, and I think Thunderbolts is making base 500 million. I just don't see the love for Thunderbolts. I just don't see.
I can agree with you, but also I was just looking at the calendar. Thunderbolts has like 2 or 3 weeks to itself.
To itself in the heat of summer?
Yeah, like nothing's opening the following week.
Oh, it's May, right?
May, yeah. It's like on the first weekend of May. It doesn't have competition until Mission Impossible and Lilo and Stitch, and that's at the end of May.
Thunderbolts, Atlanta. What the fuck is Atlantis?
I love how we're discussing the summer and not this.
Oh, it's a musical by Pharrell Williams. Bomb. So Thunderbolts, yeah, May 9th is nothing. May 16th, Bloodlines, Horror, Foundation Nation. But yeah. Lilo and Stitch, you mean? Lilo and Stitch and Final Reckoning is going to cripple that Thunderbolts.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Karate Kid. So yeah, it only has 2 weeks to itself, which is a lot for summertime, which usually only has 1 week to itself. Great point, but I think it's offset by Captain America: Brave New World. Right now, I don't know if it crosses $100 million the opening weekend. Am I an idiot for saying that?
I mean, I wouldn't. No, I don't think you're an idiot. I think it could maybe like barely 100, but I don't know. I don't feel like there's much hype for it.
Me neither. Deadpool was easy. Like, okay, that's easily making like 150 or whatever, over 200. I forget whatever Deadpool made. But I think right now I'm gonna lean on the optimistic side. You know, it's weird. Captain America: Winter Soldier made like 95 million opening weekend, I think. Sorry to be taking this long. Let me real quick. Domestic opening weekend, yeah, 95 million April 4th for Winter Soldier, 10 or 11 now years ago. 10, give and take. Anyways, I'm repeating that. I think this movie makes 95 million opening weekend. I don't know if it cracks 100 million. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm an idiot. It's Black History Month, Black Captain America. Yeah, I'll say over 100 million.
All right.
But that's it. I think the key here for this box office season, January to remember, guys, we're only doing January to April. Beginning of January to the last week in April. And I think the big here is like which movies can make over like 80 million domestically. Are we doing domestic numbers, by the way, for our rankings? I guess we never really decide.
Nah, we always kind of go back and forth between domestic and international. I mean, we can keep it like that. Yeah. But for my first pick, I hate myself for picking this movie, but I have to go by the numbers. And this movie basically has the whole month to itself. And that movie is a Minecraft movie.
Fair. I think this is one of those movies that's going to, I can't tell if this is going to be more of a domestic or international play. I know my students still love Minecraft. I think it's going to play very well domestically. It has that Mario vibe to it where it just looks bad, but it could play
kids love that.
Very well for kids. Exactly. It looks easy to digest, goofy, very, very dumb, but for kids, it's not really going to matter. I think it's going to matter in terms of like legs. It just doesn't have that animation effect. This was animated. I'm like, oh, phew, this should make a lot. But like, it's live action. It looks kind of silly, maybe too silly. But I think it could make a hit here. Minecraft movie comes out beginning of March? No, April. Yeah, Minecraft first week in April. Similar to, This is easy Minecraft because look. Comes out April 4th, similar to Super Mario Brothers, which had April all to itself in 2023. Minecraft has all of April to itself in 2025. The next weekend after that is The Amateur, which is a spy movie bomb. April 18th, Passion of the Christ Resurrection bomb. But Sinners is April 18th now.
Yeah. I don't think that's gonna be like super huge, but it's gonna do really well.
No, yeah, we'll talk about that soon because it's going to be on one of our lists. Then Accountant 2 is going to be solid. Until Dawn, solid. Like, solid for their budgets. Okay. This is where things get interesting already.
There is a movie that's coming out this season.
Snow White, number 2.
Yeah,
Snow White, which it looks very different from the Snow White movie, from the animated classic. This one, she seems to be more of a already within the town. I haven't seen Snow White in a minute. Is she like? Does she stay? Either way, I haven't seen Snow White in a very long time. But I know for a fact she's not talking and chatting with the queen in the first 10 minutes of the movie. This one, she's talking to the queen. They know each other. They're cordial. The queen actually hates her because who's the fairest of them all? It's not you, it's her. So she runs away. She meets the dwarves. And in this adaptation, she comes back and there seems to be some kind of rebellion aspect of it. And I get, having heard what Rachel has to say about the movie, they want the character to be more activist. I'm in terms of having more agency for Snow White. People are like, "Oh, woke, why Snow White so woke?" Idiots. And you know what? I don't care because the first Snow White's not like amazing in my opinion. I like it. It's very groundbreaking animation, and it's like, as a huge animation fan, you can't talk about the history of animation without talking about the impact that Snow White had on the industry. But it's not the movie I go back to. It's not Beauty and the Beast. So I can see why they're taking lengths to extend it and improve her character arc. Having said that, story aside, box office wise, I think Snow White's going to be a hit. I think what we can compare it to is not the likes of Aladdin. It's not the likes of Beauty and the Beast live action. Those are huge hits.
Little Mermaid.
Bingo, Edgar. This is why you're my co-host. We have to compare this to Little Mermaid. Both of these that were hit with controversy. Little Mermaid a little bit more because she's black. But that was just racist controversy. This one's more so like story-wise controversy. People
just hate Rachel Zegler for some reason.
Are the Rachel haters really that big in terms of hitting the box office?
Well, Hunger Games proved that wrong. So
exactly right. So Hunger Games had the IP behind it. IP beat out like the racist. And look at Little Mermaid, 569. It seems low compared to everything else that came out in 2023, but that's pretty decent at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think we're looking at similar numbers here. I think a little bit lower actually.
Yeah, maybe like 5-ish.
I think 500 top might be the top there for Snow White. I'll be happy if he does over 500 million, but I think that's like the ceiling for Snow White right now, 500 million. Domestically, I think this is making, if Little Mermaid did 298, I think Snow White's making
230-ish.
What did Beetlejuice do? I think Beetlejuice had like
294.
294, right? I think 230 to 250 range, and then internationally it would also be like 270 because this is not, Little Mermaid did dog shit in China. I think. Can you go down real quick? Can you see like the China numbers for Little Mermaid there?
Yeah, give me 1 second. China.
Where are you? Latin America, Asia, and there's China at the very end. Whoo!
Yep.
3 million in China. That's awful. I think the same thing for Snow White. I think this is making like 5 million, 3 million in China. Not very well. So that aside, I think if Europe and South America and everything else plays similar, I think this is making 230 domestic, 250 international, and we're looking at 500 to 450 there. So yeah, I think this is playing a little bit less than Little Mermaid. So, but either way, it's going to be a big hit compared to everything else coming out during this season.
Okay. I'm just gonna say it right now. You already won this one.
Yeah.
Your first win of this show ever. Which I'm surprised that this is like the first time you've won officially.
I just got an email from my school. No school tomorrow. Let's go. No school tomorrow. It's snowing outside, guys. It's snowing out here. Let's go. I got to email some parents. Anyways, sorry to cut you off.
No. It's fuck. What do I do here?
Can I help you out here? I think
There's two movies that I'm looking at.
so. Looking at my list, I had my top two. Captain America is gone. Snow White's gone. Minecraft's gone. The next one I had was Sinners.
Really?
Do we think the question now is Sinners can do well than Wolfman?
Okay, so here's the thing why I'm debating those two. The Wolfman has about a solid month to itself, and even then, its competition is not that great, other than Captain America.
And the Thieves too. What are you talking about?
And then you look over at Sinners, and I think that's probably going to be the better movie. I think the Michael B. Jordan appeal is bigger than any star in the Wolfman. But the thing that it's going to hurt it is that it's going to have like maybe a week, two before Thunderbolts comes out.
Let's talk about this because recently Warner Brothers had some release date changes. And originally Sinners was going to have the Mickey 17 spot, which is March 7th. It now has the April 18th spot, which Mickey had. So they swapped. So now Sinners used to have the March 7th spot, which was going against nothing. Like March 7th, March 14th, and then March 21st is Disney Snow White. Those first 2 weeks of March, blank. I think Sinners could have done very well.
Yeah.
But now Mickey 17 has the IMAX March 7th spot. And I think Mickey 17 is just not going to do well. I keep seeing the trailers for it. It's not in my top 10 most anticipated movies of the year. And I'm a huge Bong Joon-ho fan. I'm a huge Bong Joon-ho fan. I'm sorry, guys. It looks very fun. I'll see it, but I don't know if I'm going to love the movie just based off of the trailer. I don't know. Maybe because I've seen the trailer 1,000 freaking times now. I'm so tired of that trailer. But I don't know if Mickey 17 is going to do that well. Having said that, I think Sinner is going to do better than Mickey 17. But now that it has the April 18 spot, like you said, I don't know. I think for me, Sinners has, it says from the director of Creed. And I can see this having a Creed-ish opening. Creed never opened that big. Let me see. Creed box office. I think Creed had a box office opening of like 30 million, I think. Let me see here. Domestic weekend, 42 million, 36 million. I think Sinners is opening up to like 30 million, which I think is very good.
Yeah.
And Wolfman, I think, is like 18, 20 million kind of movie.
I gotta go with Sinners.
That's why.
You got me.
Yeah, I think Sinners is going to be the big horror play. And I just saw my favorite movie of all time, second favorite movie of all time, Seven on IMAX yesterday. That Sinners trailer, fuck. Like, we talk about 28 years later having the best trailer of 2024. Sinners needs to be in that conversation for best trailer of the year last year. That Sinners trailer is so
It is pretty fucking cool.
great. You can sense the brotherly bond. You can sense like the ominous, like creepy vibe. Some beautiful dark and light contrast there. A lot of that movie seems to be shot in the dark, and it looks very visible, which says a lot. People aren't going to give original films a chance at the box office. Sinners, Mickey 17 going to bomb. You think so, Kevin? I think Mickey 17. I think that's dead.
Yeah.
But Sinners, though,
and that's entirely Warner Brothers' fault for treating the movie how they have.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I legitimately think that I don't like. I know that people have said like, oh, maybe it's been delayed because it's bad. I don't think the movie it's bad. I legitimately think that Warner Brothers thought that they were gonna get like an Oscar contender from Bo, but then they saw the movie and it's like this weird kooky like sci-fi comedy, and they're like, oh, what do we do with this now?
What do we do with this? Exactly. And that, like, what do you do with that I think that's why they gave it the March spot so it can do a little bit better, because Sinners looks a little bit better. But I think Sinners can do well. And Kevin, looking at your earlier comments here, sorry I missed these. Snow White, you think 700 to 800? That's huge for Snow White. That's huge.
No.
That'll be a success, but I don't know if Snow White has that sauce. I would love it though. I mean, I want these movies to do well. I'm not the most excited for these live action adaptations, but like you got to realize it's been going downhill since like Beauty and the Beast in 2017. Like that was the last big hit. Aladdin was a surprise, $1 billion hit. It just barely made $1 billion, but that had like a huge Will Smith summer appeal to it.
I do think it's weird in terms of marketing. I do think it's weird that they've been hiding the fact that Greta Gerwig wrote this.
She wrote Snow White?
Yeah.
Is she the main writer, or is she one of the few that got passed off? And
I think she's like a co-writer. It's just two writers. Let me double check that for you.
Okay. Quickly, I want to see. I see Kevin posted this like an hour ago. His box office 2025 prediction. I like that a lot. I think everybody in the world has the same number 3 or 1, 2, and 3, because that's my 1, 2, and 3. Avatar 3, Zootopia, Jurassic World. 1, 2, and 3 for me. What you're missing there, Kevin, if you're still here, Michael. The Michael Jackson biopic. That's been number 4 of the year. It's coming out in, I think October or something like that. Like, I looked at what Bohemian Rhapsody made. Bohemian Rhapsody made $960 million based off of Bohemian Rhapsody, one of the biggest, cultural groups of all time. And I think Michael is it's not even arguably. Michael Jackson is the most important musical figure of our time. I don't think I'm wrong in saying that. Like Michael Jackson, directed by Anton Fuqua, person who did what's it called? Straight Outta Compton, which was another huge hit. Michael's going to be bigger than Superman, Fantastic Four, Cap. So your prediction, you're predicting that Captain America is going to make more than Fantastic Four and Superman and Thunderbolts. Yeah, I'm with you on Superman. I think 500, 600 is Superman. But I'm not with you. I looked at what Batman Part 2 made. I looked at what The Batman made in 2022. The Batman made over $750 million.
I think it made like 8, right?
No, I think it was like 750 for The Batman. Yeah, we can look that up real quick. Batman box office. Yeah, 772.
Okay, yeah.
For The Batman. I think Superman is in that same range. I know people are like, Man of Steel didn't do that well. That was 12 years ago. I think Superman's going to do very, very well. But we'll get back to that at the end of this podcast. But I think my number 3, this is hard. Because internationally, I think Paddington and Peru could do very well internationally.
Yeah, Paddington.
But like, so if we do global, I can, and it already came out a little bit, so that'd be kind of cheating. But I would say, damn. I think Paddington 3 is going to make overall more than Wolfman, overall more than Love Hurts. But Paddington has never performed well domestically. Never.
No, you're not going to give it a shot to the Looney Tunes?
The Looney Tunes.
There's not a lot of kids' movies this.
Yeah, it's between Looney Tunes and Paddington. I think Looney Tunes has the domestic play in lock. Paddington has the international play in lock. I would say domestically, yeah, I'll go Looney Tunes over Paddington. I'm looking at my list here. I have Sinners, then Looney Tunes, then Paddington, then Wolfman. So I'll just follow my list. I'll go on Looney Tunes. And then the bottom 3 were Wolfman, Paddington, or Love Hurts.
This is a really long title.
Just say Looney Tunes, motherfucker. I love to do it. Yeah. And then 4 is our danger zone.
Yeah, give me 1 second. There we go.
Highway to the... I'm so happy I got no school tomorrow. Let's go. 1 extra day from this Christmas break.
All right. Number 3. I do want to talk about some of these smaller movies because I think...
Let's do it, yeah.
The Monkey, I think, is going to do pretty well.
Longlegs did pretty well, but I think Monkey does not have a Longlegs zeitgeist appeal.
Yeah, and also like they haven't really marketed that movie that much, so we'll see.
Pretty good trailer for Monkey, by the way. Every time I see it, people are like, ooh, gross, disgusting, cool.
Yeah.
So it looks exciting.
There
Huh?
is one movie though. Where is it April or is it March? Uh, it's that movie with what's his face? Jack Quaid.
Oh, Novocaine.
Yeah.
What month is that? That's March 14th.
Companion.
Oh, and well, he has two. Yeah, Novocaine's
Yeah.
March 14th, and he has companion with my girl, Sophie Thatcher.
It's another movie that I feel like it's gonna do pretty well from the who's producing that? The guy that did Barbarian, right?
Barbarian. He's the director, right? Or is it producing or directing?
I think he's producing. Director is someone else.
Oh, you're right. Produced by Zach Kreger, the Barbarian, but directed by
Drew Hancock.
Drew Hancock here, who made this is his feature directorial debut after some TV shows, including Jimmy Kimmel Live, Cautionary Tales, The Mountain. So yeah, this is his big directorial debut here.
And that trailer is pretty solid.
The trailer is very intriguing. I think it looks very cool.
What else? Dogman again, kids movie might do well.
Might do well, yeah.
Some of the January action movies like Den of Thieves and Flight Risk, they could do well.
Flight Risk gonna bomb, but Den of Thieves looks interesting. I really like Den of Thieves 1.
What else? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Right now it's between Mickey 17 and the Wolfman, and I think I'm just gonna have to go with the Wolfman just because of the horror element of it all.
Okay.
But yeah, there's a list.
And for the Danger Zone, I might want to go crazy here. I don't usually do this, but I'm counting this movie. Now, there's a couple movies I think aren't going to be well. I think like Flight Risk. You just talked about that. I think Flight Risk is going to bomb next year in this coming January or this January. Cleaner's coming out with Daisy Ridley, teaming up with the director of James Bond. What's that one? I forget his name.
Sam Mendes or whatever.
No, Martin Campbell, the one who did the first James Bond.
Okay.
There's a movie called Night of the Zoopocalypse, which looks bad. But I don't usually do this, but I just don't have a lot of faith in Mickey 17.
All right.
I want to do that. I don't usually do this, but it's Danger Zone. It's going to be fun. But I want to give you Mickey 17 because I just don't think it's going to do well. And if it does do well, I'm going to be happy for you, Mickey 17. I just don't think it's going to do well. I think it's going to bomb.
I don't blame you. No.
I think there's more movies on the list that could obviously bomb.
Yeah.
But I think Mickey 17 is more fun to watch. So we'll keep a track on that.
Yeah, it could go either way with that one. Let's see. What else can I give you? Damn, this is hard. What's Black Bag? Oh, okay, never mind. Steven Soderbergh.
Steven Soderbergh, yes, with Michael Fassbender and Kate Blanchett spy movie. It looks like a crunchy DVD movie.
The Accountant 2 is still on the calendar. Is that even coming out this year?
I haven't seen a trailer for it. I think it is. They locked in that release date for a long time, but it's the end of April, so it's kind of risky for our predictions. But I think it's going to play well.
I think I'm gonna have to give you something very boring.
Please give it to me. Give it to me.
I'm gonna go with Rami Malek's The Amateur.
Okay, yeah. My dad saw this trailer. We're like, oh, it looks pretty fun. It's a cool twist on I can't do anything, but wait, I'm a cool tech guy, and
basically Mr. Robot.
Yeah, they killed my wife. Now I'm gonna go after the people that killed my wife using tech and not physical fights because I'm a tech guy. And it looks pretty basic, but it looks fun. I think it's gonna bomb though. Rami Malek isn't the big box office draw that people think he is. But real quick, before we leave, I want to do my overall box office predictions. Like Kevin kind of predicted, Avatar 3 is number 1. I think that's going to make over $2 billion. I can't see why not there. Zootopia 2, I think, might not make as much as Inside Out 2, 1.6 billion.
Yeah, I was about to say, will it dethrone Inside Out 2?
But it's going to give Frozen and Moana 2 a big run for their Thanksgiving box office records there. It's going to make it and Super Mario Brothers. So I think it's going to make a big 5-day weekend record there for Zootopia 2. Number 3, you can't count these movies out. There has been diminishing returns, but Jurassic World Dominion, I think the first one, Jurassic World, made like 1.6, $1.5 billion.
Hell, the last one which was terrible made $1 billion.
Yeah, and then the second one made like 1.3 billion. So 1.5 to 1.3, and then like Edgar said, the last one was terrible. Made $1 billion. I think it made a flat like $1 billion, either $1.1 billion or just $1 billion in between there. So I think this one is also going to see diminishing returns, but it has Scarlett Johansson, it has some name stars. It looks going back to basics, kind of back to basics, whatever. I think 900 million base for Jurassic World Dominion. I think that can easily make over $1 billion as well. Out of those July movies of like Jurassic World, Superman, and Thunderbolts, I think Jurassic World's gonna make the most. Or not Thunderbolts, Jurassic World, Fantastic Four, or Superman. I think Jurassic World's gonna be the biggest of those July movies. Number 4 is gonna be Michael. Number 5, I actually disagree with Kevin here in our comments. I think Superman's gonna be the highest grossing comic book movie of the year.
Ooh.
I think it's gonna make more than Captain America. It's gonna make more than Thunderbolts. It's gonna make, and the only battle is between that and Fantastic Four. Kevin here on our comments thinks Fantastic Four is making 600 to 700. That's very fair. That's a very fair estimate. I just think Superman's gonna make 700 to 800 million. I think it's gonna make over the 700 million mark. That trailer just gave me so much positivity and hope. You know, I'm looking up. So I think, and I just don't see Captain America doing 800 to 900 million. I can't support that.
No.
But other movies to look out for this year: Lilo and Stitch, Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible can either have the same thing as Dead Reckoning, where it just makes 500 something million, or it can have a Fallout success. So you don't really know.
How to Train Your Dragon, I would say. So
How to Train Your Dragon is going to be very appealing to people. So How to Train Your Dragon, Lilo and Stitch, those are other two big ones. And of course, Wicked Part 2. So,
or as it's called now officially, Wicked for Good.
Exactly. But yeah, we reached over that 90-minute mark. It's going to be a fun year at the box office. People are predicting 2025 is going to make 500 million to maybe $1 billion more overall than 2024. And I think so too. 2024 was hit with the delays from the strikes. 2025 where all the things are pushed into. So yeah.
Even though that's the case, I don't know about you, but do you feel like 2025 the calendar looks kind of a little bit boring compared to 24? Because I feel like 24, maybe there was not as much big stuff, but like the little mid-budget stuff.
I see what you're saying. I made my list for the draft that we're going to be doing. I have a lot here for the draft. There's a lot of interesting movies coming out here. Smaller budget movies, that not including big box office movies. So I think I hear you, but I think 2025 is going to have, I would say, I think a better year than 2024. 2024 was a good year, very good year. Not my favorite. I think 2022 was still very, really good. But okay, that's our list.
That's the show.
Yeah. Be like Kevin, guys. Leave your predictions. What do you think is going to be the biggest movies of the year? What do you guys think is going to be the biggest movies from January to April? Do you agree with our list? Do you disagree with our list? What do you guys think? Be nice in the comments. Like and subscribe. You guys can find me on Twitter at Harris EV9. Every week, we've been on a break at Nathan Rojas's podcast channel. We've been on a break doing Star Wars stuff, but we're coming back this week. We're going to do 3 episodes, talking about the past 3 episodes of Skeleton Crew. We're going to bring back some of our commentaries. We're going to bring back some of our My Cup of Tea, so we're doing that. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing, or this week, we're going to be doing our December recap on this channel.
Yep.
And then tonight is the Golden Globes. You know, Edgar, Josh, and I are huge awards fans, and this week is kicking off a stacked week. We have Golden Globes, SAG nominations are this week, Critics' Choices next weekend, DGA, I think, is this week. Directors Guild Awards. So a lot happening. BAFTA long list happened a couple days ago. So
when's the Oscar nominations?
January 17th.
Okay.
So and yeah, we're gonna have one more Oscar predictions before the Oscar nominations to finalize our last minute predictions. So be on the lookout for that. Again, like and subscribe, or follow me on Twitter, Harris EV9, for all my live tweeting of the Golden Globes tonight.
Challengers, my baby.
What could have been? That movie
should
have came out in November.
They should have switched with queer, but anyway. You can find me at EDG or TEG on all social medias, as Evan said. You can find this podcast at WHFG Podcast on all social medias as well. And you can look up some of my written work, a lot of clear reviews in the cinema spot. And we will be back for more episodes this week and, for the rest of the year. Another year of where heartbreak feels good. So, yeah.
Wait, before we leave, what year are we at now for this channel? Are we on year 4?
We started on 22. March
okay.
22.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. We'll see you on the next one, guys. Bye.